What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ivan. I am back today with another And Just Like That episode review. Today we are covering episode 9, No Strings Attached. This is the second to last episode of this season. Who knows if we're gonna get a season 2? You know, if it was up to the critics, probably not. But if it was up to me, yes, please. I want a season 2 because I just don't see 2 episodes being enough to wrap up all of the different storylines that we have going on, all of the new characters. I just don't see it being enough time. So you know what? I am going to advocate for a season 2. Yes, please. I need more And Just Like That. As I said in my previous videos, I know it's not the greatest show. Writing is a little off, but it's good or bad, I'm going to be here making commentary and reviews on them. I love this universe. I love the actors and actresses on this show. It does certainly feel like a completely new, different chapter of Sex and the City. A lot of things do feel familiar, and a lot of things are very much not Sex and the City. Tabloid rumor, allegedly, that season 2, talks were all canceled after Mr. Big allegations came out and after all the really bad critics and feedbacks from the fans. Another thing that I heard about this show, which I had no idea, the main leads, Sarah, Cynthia, and Kristen, were paid $1 million per episode. That means that this is a very, very expensive show. For the critics and the fans to not be so happy with it and the show to be so expensive, the chances of getting a season 2 are really, really, I don't know. Do you think that this show ruined the franchise? I'm hearing people saying that the entire show is ruined. I personally don't feel that way, but I do feel like it's been a little bit of a mood kill. A little bit of a mood kill for sure. I have been enjoying this season. I have certainly been enjoying my time here on YouTube making commentary videos with you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like any of the content that you find on this channel, definitely hit that subscribe button. Definitely drop me a comment. Hit the notifications bell. This week's episode opens up with Miranda, Carrie, and Charlotte, and they're eating. Charlotte's all excited that Carrie's going on a date with the teacher, Peter, and Carrie's like, look, it's not a date. Carrie clarifies that it's just a do-over between 2 people because you already know that the last date they got really faded and it just didn't work out. But you know what? I really do want to see Carrie dating a little bit, so I'm excited for that. Miranda asks Carrie and Charlotte for a favor. She says it involves manual labor and coming to Brooklyn. Naya's women's shelter is finally opening. Carrie's like, how can we say no? As in, I'm asking, how could I, get out of this? I heard manual labor and I heard Brooklyn, I'm over it. You know Carrie vibes. Carrie doesn't really do manual labor nor work out, so Carrie's like, what, manual labor, Brooklyn? I'm kind of good, Miranda. What's this for again? But we found out early in the season, Naya is opening up a women's shelter, and Miranda is part of that project. So Miranda is gathering Carrie and Charlotte to come on over to help with the painting of it before it opens. Miranda's like, we need a huge turnout, and I need you guys there. Charlotte's like, I'm there, I'll bring the kid. Carrie's like, I'll write a check. Miranda's like, you can't be the white woman writing the check. Charlotte then starts telling Carrie and Miranda how she stopped getting her period. She hasn't gotten it in 4 months, and she thinks that she's finally in menopause. Miranda's like, welcome to the club. Next thing we are back at Carrie's apartment, and she gets a knock on the door. It's Lizette, the downstairs cool neighbor girl. Hi, Carrie. I'm a jewelry designer, and I wanted to give you this gift. Lizette, Carrie already knows your tea. I'm a jewelry designer, and I have this gift for you. Lizette ends up giving Carrie this ring. Carrie opens it up, and she's like, oh, it's so pretty. Lizette is like, I would be so stoked if, you wore this out, or, put this on your Insta. She mentions that one time Scarlett Johansson wore her jewelry, and her sales skyrocketed. Carrie's like, look, lower those expectations on those sales. I'm just a little writer. Lizette is like, no, actually, I really, really love your podcast, Carrie. I'm a big fan. Lizette notices Carrie's wedding ring. Oh my God, what's that? That's pretty. Carrie's like, oh, it's my wedding ring. I didn't know you were married. I never see him here. Where is he at? Is it a long distance relationship kind of a thing? And Carrie's like, yeah, sorta. He died. And Lizette is just speechless. We're back at Charlotte's house, and we have Charlotte and Rock, and they're studying for Rock's bat mitzvah. They get interrupted by a phone call, and it's Anthony. Anthony's like, someone called in sick. I'm making the deliveries today. I'm the hot fella today. So apparently on Friday night, Charlotte's hosting a dinner, and Anthony calls asking if he can bring someone that he just started dating to the dinner. Charlotte's like, of course. Is he appropriate for kids? Anthony's like, relax, he's sexy, smart, and always reading. Phone call gets cut off short because we hear Lily screaming in the background. Charlotte's like, what's going on, Lily? What's the matter? Lily storms into the room and is like, I got my period. My app says I'm gonna get it again in 21 days. And everything is ruined because I have a Hamptons party that weekend, Mom. Lily is so annoying in this episode. Oh my God. The actress who plays Lily, great job. Charlotte's like, listen, Lily, calm down. Stop cursing. Charlotte mentions to her, I know you'd rather die than use a tampon, but I could show you. And Lily's like, no, I'd rather die. Charlotte's like, look, you have 2 choices. 1, learn how to use a tampon, which I can show you how to use. Or 2, skip the pool party. party. And Lily just stomps away, having a little tantrum. Super, super annoying. Next scene we have, we're at dinner with Miranda and Che. They're eating, they're having some drinks. Che's like, you look so pretty tonight. Che tells Miranda that she's a lot of fun, even with her clothes on. Then two of Che's fans come up to them and are like, oh my god, Che, like, we love you, we love your podcast. Like, can we take a picture with you? Miranda's like, no, I'll take the picture for you guys. And then they ask Miranda, like, wait, are you famous too? Miranda's like, no, I'm just a girlfriend. And Che's just looking at Miranda like, girlfriend? Like, wait, what? One of the fans tells, thank you really have gotten me through some tough times. And then they continue on with like, oh, and you also hooked up with one of our friends, Melvin from Buffalo. Miranda's just there eating. Then the other fan chimes in like, oh yeah, you also slept with our other friend, Aubrey. Miranda's just like stuffing her face with food, trying to be distracted. Che is like, yeah, that's right, yeah, you know, just trying to remember, because like, you know, like Carrie says, Che's always on the roller coaster. Next thing we have Sema and Carrie, and they're outside of a club online. Sema's like, I can't remember the last time I waited online. Carrie's like, I do, waiting for my vaccine. Sema's like, honey, I wish you knew me then. I got mine before the president. Carrie's like, listen, while we're waiting, can you take a picture of me for Instagram wearing the ring that Lisette gave me? Carrie then starts asking Sema what she thinks about her still wearing her wedding ring. Wear it, if she shouldn't wear it, is it appropriate or not? Sema's like, I don't know, I don't have a wedding ring. Carrie's like, you know, like technically I'm not married anymore and I'm going on that date tomorrow. Like, do you think it's appropriate? Sema's like, do what you think is appropriate. Sema also mentions that she's never had to bribe a doorman to get into a hot club, but you know what, tonight is the night. Carrie's like, why are we even putting ourselves through this? Like, can we just go? Like, let's just leave. Sema's like, no, I really want to go dancing tonight. It's my birthday. Carrie's like, wait, what? It's your birthday? Sema's like, yeah, look, I don't really make a big deal about my birthday, so like, don't make it a big deal. I just want to go out dancing. Carrie then tells Sema that, look, you're not gonna bribe a doorman on your birthday. Let me handle this, Sema. Walks up to the front of the line and looks at the doorman and is like, listen, I know that we've all seen that scene in those movies and shows where like, you know, someone goes up to the doorman and tries to bribe them to get into the club. Like, all we want is to get into the club because it's my friend's birthday and she really wants to go out dancing tonight. So like, can you like please just like let us in? The doorman's like, we're at capacity. Carrie's like, so we're really doing that scene right now. And then of course Sema just rolls up and like shows him some money. Doorman is like, that's offensive, and they end up walking away. As they're walking away, Sema asks Carrie like, did I just get canceled by a doorman? And they're now at dinner and Sema's blowing out her little dessert. It's Sema's 54th birthday. Sema's like, you know, I really thought that at age 53 was when I was gonna meet the guy, but you know what, as it turns out, maybe it's gonna be 54. Sema says, instead of meeting my guy this year, I met an amazing new friend. So she's like, cheers to friendship, Carrie. Here's to 53, best year ever. Carrie joins in to 54 and your new guy. Sema asks Carrie if she has any plans for the weekend. Carrie's like, actually, I do. I'm gonna be in Greenpoint painting a house. But Carrie's like, it's an all-day affair. I'm gonna have to take the subway over there. Sema's like, no, don't worry, I'll drive you. I love Sema and Carrie's friendship, and I really would love to see more Sema, which is exactly one of the reasons why we need a season 2. Next thing we have, we're back at Charlotte's apartment. Charlotte's in the kitchen prepping dinner because it's Friday night, and Anthony's on his way with his hot date. Lily pops up in the kitchen and she's like, Mom, I'm ready. Charlotte's like, for what? What, dinner? Dinner's almost ready. No, Mom, I'm ready to learn how to use a tampon. Charlotte's like, really? Like right now? She's like, yes, right now. Again, Lily is so annoying in this episode. She's like, let's do it before I change my mind. Girl, bye, change your mind. I'm cooking dinner. Charlotte's like, yes, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go. And then the doorbell rings. Charlotte goes up to the door. She opens it up and it's Anthony and his hot date named Justin. Charlotte's like, Harry, please make these gentlemen some drinks and please just take out the food when it's done from the oven. I'll be right back. Anthony's date Justin then says, wait, oh, is this a Jewish dinner? And Harry nods like, yes. Then Justin makes a really bad joke. I'm not even gonna repeat it because it's just a really terrible joke and like not funny, whatever with this show. Justin makes a really, really bad, inappropriate joke in my opinion. I will not be repeating that joke on here. It was not funny to me. And Anthony just screams out, get out. The next thing we have, we're back at Carrie's and Carrie's in her closet looking at her ring, debating if she should take it off or leave it on. Still contemplating and thinking about if she should take off her ring, keep her ring. Instead of taking off her wedding ring, Carrie actually decides to put on Big's wedding ring as well. So she keeps both rings on. It's date night. Peter rolls up in a cab. He's like, oh, I thought I was gonna be the one that was gonna be here super, super early. He then goes on to say, you know, I have this talent where I could read people's faces, and why do I feel like you're gonna tell me that, you know, that your dog ate your homework or something? Like, why do I have a feeling that this date's not gonna happen tonight? Carrie's like, it's not. Peter looks disappointed. Carrie then goes on to explain that, look, it's not you. Carrie tells Peter that, you know, I came here because I didn't want to text you. She's like, I feel really bad. Peter's like, okay, I appreciate that. Carrie then goes on to explain that, you know, she went to take off her wedding ring, but instead of taking off her wedding ring, she ended up putting on Big's wedding ring. She ends up showing Peter Big's wedding ring. Peter then says, you know, maybe this date is like a band-aid for both of us. Maybe both of us are trying to cover something, cover the hurt that we're both both experiencing right now. They're having a moment outside together. They're having a bonding moment. Well, Carrie, that's strike two. He's like, one warm, we're out. Goes to say goodbye by giving Carrie a handshake, and Carrie decides to give him a warm hug. Carrie then turns around and walks away, and as she's walking away, Peter's like, hey, this is the best rejection ever. Aw, I'm kind of liking Peter. I have to say, I wasn't like too fond of Peter in the beginning, but now that there's a little more dialogue with him, I like him. I like Peter and Carrie a little bit. Then we head on over back to Charlotte's bathroom. Charlotte is encouraging Lily that she can do this, goes into describing all the different ways that you could use the tampon and all the different ways that you can apply it. Charlotte's like, do you want me to show you like on me? Lily's like, ew, gross, no. They decide to go on YouTube and look up a video on how to use a tampon. They finally figure it out. Next thing we have Miranda knocking on Che's door. Che opens up. Miranda's like, surprise! It's your new favorite person with your favorite cookies. Che opens up the door and is super surprised, taken back, like, what are you doing here? And Che was not expecting Miranda. Che's like, oh my god, did we have a plan? I like maybe spaced out. Miranda explains, no. I was at the library and I was craving me some Che, so I came over. Che's like, this is awkward. Miranda's like, wait, are you alone? You're not alone? Is there someone else here? Che's like, no, I'm alone. I just wasn't expecting you. Che's like, I'm in the middle of writing. I kind of wish you would have texted me or called me. Miranda's like, oh, it's not a problem. I'll leave. Turns around to walk away. Miranda's like, no, it's fine. I'm gone. This never happened. It's really dramatic. Like, Miranda's acting out like a whole little teenager. Like, Miranda, come back. Stop. Miranda's like, no, have your name. I'm so sorry. Then she goes like, who am I? Meg Ryan? I guess that's a reference to Carrie. I'm in a rom-com. Justice for Steve. Che's like, what's going on here? Miranda's like, look, I don't even know what's going on with me right now. If you were a new guy that I just started seeing, I'd never just show up to your apartment with cookies unannounced. Che's like, you know what? This is not gonna work. Miranda's like, what do you mean this is not gonna work? Oh, dramatic. Again, Miranda's acting like a whole teenager in heat. Miranda's like, no. This has to work. It doesn't actually, Miranda. Justice for Steve. Che's like, this is not gonna work if you lock us into those limited relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend kind of a thing. Girls do this and guys do this. Like, Che's like, I don't want anything to do with that. It's like, I'm not a guy. You're not my girlfriend. We're not dating. This is not cosplay. Miranda's like, we're not dating. Che's like, look, we're getting to know each other. Miranda's like, in my defense, I'm trying to think outside of the box. I'm trying to do things differently. So I decided to do something spontaneous. Next thing we have, we're in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. Painting day. We have Carrie and Sema outside. Carrie's wearing overalls. Side note, there's not a lot of great fashion in this episode, like at all. There's not one memorable piece. Sema looks good in all the scenes in this episode. Sema looks great. Then Miranda comes out. Miranda's like, oh, hey, Carrie, you're here. Carrie, and you brought Sema. Sema, I'm gonna go get your t-shirt so that you can paint it. Sema's like, I'm gonna be over here smoking cigarettes and I'll be the brown lady writing a check. Then Steve and Brady show up. They're like, hey, Carrie. They don't really acknowledge Miranda, which I thought was super funny. Miranda's like, well, we're working in pairs. Steve is like, I call Carrie. Miranda's like, I'll call Brady. Brady's like, no, I'm good. I'm gonna be working with Lisa. Yeah, Miranda, you're working alone. Justice for Steve. Aya shows up. She thanks everybody for coming. It's her first time meeting Carrie. She tells them that the catering company canceled, so there's no food. Then a stretch white limo pulls up and Carrie's like, is it prom night? Who opens the door? It's Charlotte. She's like, we made it. We also have Lisa, her husband, and Lisa's kid. Lisa hops out of the car. She looks all fabulous in a really weird outfit with like all these crazy hair accessories on her jacket. It was a very interesting piece, but again, the fashion was not great in this episode, in my opinion. Lisa has this camera around her neck. Miranda's like, why does she have a camera? Like, this is not an Instagram opportunity. Lisa goes up to Naya, introduces herself. She's like, I'm so sorry for the tone deaf limo. I ordered a van and this showed up. And like, hey, would you mind if I take some pictures? I think this would be really good for your website. They're great for photos. They're great for fundraising. I love the work that you're doing over here. Naya's like, a great idea. Thank you so much. I would love that. Miranda, how bad do you feel? Lisa tells Naya if she needs anything, let her know. Naya's like, well, if you can figure out how to get lunch here for all these people, that'd be great because the catering company canceled on me. Lisa's like, I'm on it. Now we're inside of the women's shelter and we have Naya's husband watching Lisa's husband teach their kids how to paint. And he's all moved and warmed up because we all know that it seems like he really wants to be a dad. Turns over to Naya and mentions how that's some grade A fathering over there. Naya turns around and is like, oh yeah. He then goes to say, that's the stuff of life, isn't it? Naya's like, their life. He's like, don't you feel anything when you see something like that? He's like, that could be us. Naya's like, Andre, they came in a limo. They probably have like 3 nannies. Naya starts talking to Miranda. She's like, I don't know what happened. Just 3 years ago, he would never even bat an eye if anyone came in and out of a room. We keep having all these great conversations about us accepting our lives, but it just seems like he wants like more. And we head on over outside of the shelter and we have Sema on her phone scrolling, smoking a cigarette. This guy pulls up in a convertible. He's like, what's going on over here? What's all this stuff going on in front of my club? Sema's like, why are you asking me? He's like, well, you're the only one here not working here, looking like a ball, smoking a cigarette. Sema's like, you know what? I actually did notice this club. Is it any good? He's like, it's the hottest club in Brooklyn. Sema's like, says you. They smile. There's definitely chemistry there. I'm sensing something. You know what? I'm just like, Steve was like the best thing of this episode so far. Then we head back inside. We have Carrie and Steve, and they're working on painting a room. Steve starts asking Carrie, like, how long did you know about like Che and Miranda? Like, you work with them. Were you the one that introduced them? Carrie gets all weird. She's like, oh, Steve, she doesn't really want to talk about it. Steve is like, Carrie, there's no need for this to get uncomfortable or weird. Carrie, I'm just trying to get some information here. I'm just trying to understand the situation a little bit better. He's like, you know, this whole thing just came up on me all of a sudden out of nowhere. Carrie tells Steve that she had nothing to do with it. Okay, but did you ever know that Miranda wanted to be with women? Is that something that she ever mentioned? And Miranda told her it's not about being with women, it's about being with Che. Carrie, like, how long ago did this really start? Gets all startled and ends up stepping into a bucket of paint. Carrie then runs into the bathroom and starts washing off the paint off her shoes. Big's wedding ring falls down the drain. Steve rushes in. She's like, Steve, I just dropped the wedding ring down the drain. Like, is it gone? I can't believe this. Steve is like, calm down. Can we find it? Steve is like, yeah, like, it's probably in the pea trap. Like, let me go get some tools. Then we have Lily and Rock, and they're painting. Rock is like, Mom, you're being too OCD about the painting. Lily joining in. Lily's like, Mom, my string is missing. Charlotte's like, it's not gone. I'm sure you're just having some trouble finding it. Charlotte starts heading on over to the porta potty with Lily. Taco trucks that Lisa ordered end up rolling up. Steve ends up finding some tools, and he's able to retrieve his wedding ring. Carrie just has a sigh of relief. She thinks Steve. Justice for Steve. Lily's having a panic attack in the porta potty. She can't find the string. Charlotte's like, it's in there somewhere. She's like, Lily, I can't do this. You're gonna have to figure it out on your own. It's lunchtime. We have Carrie talking to Miranda. Miranda gets a phone call from Che, and it's like, I'm not picking up. I'm playing hard to get because, I've been too available. Because again, Miranda's 15. Then we have Naya and Andre inside. Naya asks Andre, like, hey, what was all that before? Like, Andre's like, are you sure? Are we sure that this is what we want? Like, are we 100% sure that we don't want children? Naya's like, Andre, have you met us? The last 15 years of our relationship has been all about just like us two. Andre's like, well, I'm not 100% sure that this is what I want. Like, Andre, please don't make this miracle of us finding each other not be enough. Go back outside. We have Lily, and Lily's like, oh my God, I found the string, Mom. It's like, great, I'll see you back inside. I'm over it. Charlotte's like, I draw the line there, Lily. I will not be pulling out that string for you. As she's walking away, we notice Charlotte really is not going through menopause because her period is back, but then the girls notice. Carrie and Miranda end up noticing what's going on with Charlotte, and they're like, Charlotte, come here. Carrie starts putting a shirt around Charlotte's waist. Charlotte's like, just when I thought I was done with these period talks, here comes Lily. Miranda and Carrie are like, well, actually, you're not done yet. Lunchtime is over, break time is over, we're back inside. We have Steve and Carrie. Steve comes over with some lemonade for Carrie. Hey, how's that heart rate? Carrie's like, oh, it's better. Steve is like, I get it. Like, this ring here, it's never coming off. This is for Steve, man. Like, oh my God. Carrie gets all emotional. She's like, Steve, what about you? Like, Carrie's like, you're such a wonderful, wonderful person. Don't you like maybe want to find someone? Like at some point, Steve once again says, it's never coming off. And Carrie's just like deep in thought. So now we're back at Carrie's. Carrie's taking off her rings and she's storing them in her closet. It's quiet, there's silence. Again, it would have been a perfect opportunity for us to get those Carrie Sex and the City voiceovers. This is something that the show is really, really missing and lacking. That's a great element from the original series that this show desperately needs, because it's like we have all these silent moments with Carrie and it's like we have no idea what's going on. In the past, when we've had these silent moments, like Carrie always does some sort of voiceover. The voiceovers need to come back. Carrie takes off her wedding ring, she stores them, and she ends up texting Peter and she's like, hey, are you up for strike 3? She walks out of her closet and more silence. The next thing we have, we're back in Brooklyn. We have Sema and Carrie. We are outside of Brooklyn's hottest club. There's a line. This time, they're not online, they're cutting the line. They get to the front of the line, and the guy that Sema met the other night, the owner of the club, ends up opening up the ropes, letting them in. Carrie says, and just like that, I was up for a dance. What did you guys think of this episode? I enjoyed it. It was like a filler episode. This episode to me was just a drag. It was just a continuation of the stories that have been going on, but like have not wrapped up or could have wrapped up sooner. You don't get any kind of like insight into Lisa's life in this episode. She just, orders the taco truck. Naya's storyline, it's like redundant. They just keep repeating the same thing, and like they haven't gotten anywhere. Miranda and Che, whatever. Justice for Steve. The best thing about this episode, I really think, was Sema. I'm really excited for Sema's new date. Love that Steve in this episode actually has dialogue and actually has like lines. They gave Steve a script for this episode. Steve in each episode that he's made an appearance on has probably spoken like 3 or 4 words. They've been broken, incomplete sentences. This episode, he actually does have dialogue, so that's great. I love that. Justice for Steve. Miranda's definitely been the most annoying thing of this entire season. However, in this episode, Lily really takes the cake. We have Peter and Carrie again going out for a date that didn't work out. Again, I feel like the needle still didn't really move too much from where it has been. It's just stuck. Just like that, we're stuck. I don't know, guys. I'm excited for the last episode. However, the last episode, the preview does look nice. I just saw it. It looks like there's a lot going on. And you know, it's interesting. We've been dragging out all of these stories throughout the season. It seems like in the last episode, they're really going to try to give us answers and solutions to all of the things that have gone on throughout the season that have been stagnant and just stuck. It's like in the next episode, Carrie's going to be deciding where Big's final resting place is going to be. Someone is questioning her about like where his ashes are. I'm really excited about that. I heard that, I heard we're going back to Paris, but I don't know, allegedly. I really am hoping for a season 2 because I feel like season 2 will be a great opportunity for the writers to hear all of our feedback and all of our feelings and come out and give us an amazing season 2. Hey, this is a new chapter in the series, so of course things were going to be a little bit different and not, exactly the same. But one thing that is non-negotiable and that these writers and producers really should consider if there is going to be a season 2 is more Carrie voiceovers, because it would be able to fill in a lot of the extra stuff that we're all confused about or all in our head about. Like, wait, what? Lots of questions. I'm going to be here nevertheless to review and have some commentary for you guys. I look forward to hearing what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Hope you enjoy the content that you find on this channel. If you do, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and drop me a comment. Until the next video, until the next vlog, until the next scene, until the next commentary and review, I'm going to talk to you guys later.